Okay, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about a different type of adjective. At first we were comparing two things and saying if they were the same or not. But it's more common to actually say how things are different. For example, it's very unusual to have two things that are perfectly the same. You'll sometimes have two things that really aren't the same. And for that, we use comparative adjectives. So we use this form to show how two things are different. And the form that we use is comparative adjective plus than. So, for example, the teacher's chair, which is our noun, is nicer than the students' chairs. Okay. What's our adjective? Well, here, the comparative form is nicer than. Which is strange because there is no adjective nicer. The adjective is just nice. So to create this comparative adjective form, we actually have to change the adjectives. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So how do we form a comparative adjective? Well, there are three ways. The first is for short adjectives. And these are adjectives that are one or two syllables long. We use the form adjective, so we take our regular adjective like nice, and we add er, and then we have than at the end. So for example, our adjective loud. You know when someone talks like this, loud becomes louder than. So we have loud and we add er. The same with tall. We say tall or taller than. And of course the one I missed, short. We just add er. We say shorter than. Okay. And you'll see here, with these short adjectives, it's not always the same. Sometimes we have spelling changes. One example is nicer. The adjective is nice. It already has an E. We don't add an extra E. It's not N-I-C-E-E-R, it's just R. Or for example, big. We say bigger with two G's. The next one, sometimes we have irregular forms. The word changes completely. For example, good. If I wanted to compare two scores, my score and ISIS's score. If I have a score that is higher, I have 75, and ISIS has 65, I don't say my score is gooder than ISIS's score. I say my score is better than ISIS's score. So for short adjectives, normally we add er, but there are some adjectives where you have to be careful of spelling. The second way to make a comparative adjective is when we have long adjectives. And this will be any adjective that's two or more syllables long. Here, we don't add anything to the adjective. What we do is we add a word before the adjective. So here we will say more or less. And we'll use the same adjective form. And then of course, then at the end. So one example, beautiful. If we are comparing two things. We say, this is more beautiful than. Not beautifuler, not more beautifuler than, just more beautiful. The adjective itself does not change. Another example is exciting. If you don't like something, you can say this is less exciting than. Using this form, now, with the long adjectives, we can say if it's more or less. With our short adjectives, this form always means that it's more. Okay, and the last point, it's not really a form, but what it is some of these adjectives, and usually it's two-syllable adjectives, some of these adjectives can be used in both forms. One example is lovely. We can say, this is lovelier than that. Or we can say, this is more lovely than that. Lovelier, this form is more common in speaking. We would write more lovely than. Okay, so we're going to continue on and go to part 3.